The rain had been falling since early morning, the kind of steady, soaking rain that turns streets into mirrors and seeps through everything, no matter how tightly you curl up. On the edge of a nearly empty strip mall outside a small Midwestern town, a dog sat tied to a metal pole just beyond the glow of a flickering streetlight. The leash was short, too short for comfort, and twisted awkwardly around the base, forcing him to sit in one position if he didn't want it to pull against his neck. His fur, once a warm golden color, was now darkened and matted by the rain, clinging to his thin body. Cars passed on the nearby road, tires hissing against wet asphalt, headlights slicing through the gray. Each time a car slowed, the dog lifted his head. Each time a door slammed in the distance, his ears perked. He wasn't crying, he wasn't barking, he was waiting. Earlier that day, a family had stopped there, an SUV with a cracked bumper and a faded American flag sticker on the back window. The kids had been loud, the parents had argued in hushed but angry voices. Someone had clipped the leash to the pole, patted the dog's head too quickly, and said, "We'll be right back." The dog believed them. Dogs always do. As the hours passed and the rain soaked through his fur and into his skin, he stayed facing the parking lot entrance, eyes fixed on the place where the car had disappeared. Hunger gnawed at his stomach, but it was quieter than the fear creeping into his chest. He had been loyal his whole life. He had learned routines, followed rules, loved without conditions. He didn't understand why his people hadn't returned yet, but surely they would. They always did. By late afternoon, the rain had grown colder, sharper, as if winter itself were leaning in early. Water pooled around the dog's paws, and every time he shifted his weight, his joints ached. His body trembled, not just from the cold, but from exhaustion. People came and went from the remaining open stores, gas station customers, a tired cashier stepping outside for a cigarette, a delivery driver running from his truck. Some noticed the dog, most didn't. A few looked and kept walking, telling themselves someone else would handle it, that surely the dog belonged to someone inside. One man slowed, frowned, and shook his head and muttered, "Poor thing," before driving away. The dog watched them all with the same hopeful expression, tail giving a weak thump against the wet concrete when anyone came too close. He didn't know the word abandoned. He didn't know what it meant to be unwanted. All he knew was that his family had left him here, and leaving meant coming back. Evening crept in, and the temperature dropped fast. The streetlight buzzed overhead, casting a dull yellow halo that barely reached him. The dog lowered himself onto the cold ground, curling his body as tightly as the leash allowed. Rain dripped from his whiskers. His eyes stayed open. He remembered the back seat of the car, the way the kids used to fall asleep with their feet pressed against his side. He remembered the smell of home, laundry soap, old couch fabric, leftover dinners. He remembered being called good boy, not as a reward, but as a fact. The longer the night stretched on, the more his belief began to crack, just slightly, like ice forming under pressure. Still, he waited, because leaving would mean giving up, and he didn't know how to do that. It was well past dark when the woman pulled into the lot. She had just finished a double shift at the hospital, her scrubs wrinkled, her shoulders slumped with the kind of tired that goes bone deep. She almost didn't see him at first, just a shape in the rain, too still to be a trash bag, too quiet to be alive.
Come on, let's go home.
Something made her stop.
Good boy, this
Turned
way.
off her engine, the sudden silence loud in her ears, and stepped out into the rain. The dog noticed her immediately. He lifted his head, tail twitching weakly. He didn't bark, he didn't lunge, he just looked at her, eyes wide and shining, full of questions he couldn't ask. The woman's chest tightened. She approached slowly, hands visible, heart breaking with every step as she took in the soaked fur, the too tight leash, the way his body leaned toward her without fully trusting yet. "Hey buddy," she whispered, voice catching. She crouched down despite the rain soaking her knees. "Where's your family?" The dog wagged his tail harder now, hope flaring painfully bright. He looked past her, back toward the road, then back at her, as if asking if she had seen them. The woman followed his gaze and understood. Her throat closed. She had seen this before in people, in patients waiting for visitors who never came. She reached out slowly, letting him sniff her fingers. He pressed his nose into her palm, warm and trembling. She didn't rush. She sat there with him in the rain,
for minutes that stretched into nearly an hour, until the dog leaned his full weight against her leg, exhausted. When she finally unclipped the leash, his body tensed. Freedom scared him. He didn't move right away. He looked back at the pole, at the empty parking lot, at the place he was supposed to wait. The woman swallowed hard and whispered, "It's okay. You don't have to stay anymore."
The ride home was quiet. The dog sat in the back seat, curled tightly, eyes flicking between the window and the woman's face in the rearview mirror. Every turn seemed to make him anxious, as if he were afraid they were going back. When they arrived at her small house, a modest place with peeling paint and a single porch light, he hesitated at the door. Inside, everything was unfamiliar. The smell of coffee, old books, clean floors. He stood frozen, unsure of where he belonged now that there was no pole, no leash, no instruction to wait. The woman laid out a towel and a bowl of food, then sat on the floor a few feet away, giving him space. He didn't eat right away. He watched her instead. When he finally did lower his head to the bowl, he ate slowly, cautiously, like someone afraid the moment would end if he moved too fast. That night, he didn't sleep. Not really. He lay on the towel, eyes open, listening to every sound, lifting his head whenever the woman shifted in her bed. He expected to be taken back, expected the car, the rain, the pole. Morning came softly through the windows, and when the woman walked into the room, the dog's tail wagged so hard his whole body shook. She knelt down and rested her forehead against his, tears spilling freely now that she was safe enough to let them fall. "You're home," she whispered, even though she knew it would take time for him to believe it. Weeks passed. The dog learned the rhythm of the house, the sound of the coffee maker, the way the woman sighed when she sat down after work, the warmth of the sun on the living room floor in the afternoons. He gained weight. His fur grew softer, but some habits never left him. Whenever it rained, he sat by the window, watching the street. Whenever a car slowed outside, his ears lifted. Sometimes he whimpered in his sleep, paws twitching as if he were still tied to that pole, still waiting. The woman never scolded him for it. She simply sat beside him, hand resting gently on his back, reminding him that he didn't have to wait anymore. Somewhere out there, a family had driven away and forgotten him, but he had not forgotten how to love. Dogs never do. They don't understand betrayal the way humans do. They don't rewrite the past to protect themselves. They just carry the love forward, hoping someone else will be strong enough to hold it. And in that quiet American town, in a small house with a porch light that stayed on every night, a dog who waited in the rain finally learned that sometimes being left behind is not the end of the story. It's the beginning of being found.